A lot of modern men are emotionally weak. And it's talked about a lot that we are not as physically strong as the generation before because of hormone disruptions and sitting down and doing this instead of hopping up and hitting things with sticks like we used to do. But I don't think the emotional weakness is talked about enough. It's not as obvious because we're not walking around showing our emotions on our sleeve. I mean, men never really did that, but men 100 years ago were a lot better at receiving criticism than we are today because people have gotten to a stage where one rejection causes you to spiral. A little bit of criticism can cause you to feel physically attacked as though somebody's tried to shoot you. And I'm going to talk through some examples to give some context to why I think it's important to talk about this, but I'm not going to use any names just because I'm not going to be a dick. There was an organization that I worked in where I was upper management, not in the location where the person was, and there was a guy who literally was not doing his job. Great human being, has some stuff to work on emotionally and personally, but has the potential to be excellent in the industry that he was in. When I say he wasn't doing his job, there was like 5 or 6 core responsibilities. He wasn't doing a single one. I'm talking like phone calls were supposed to be answered. He would shrug his shoulders and be like, nah, that might be a sale. I don't want to talk to that person. Wild, because his job involved sales. When his manager flagged this with him at a performance review, instead of taking it on the chin and accepting that there's an opportunity to improve, become a better member of staff, a more capable human being, and pick up some skills for the business that he says he would like to run himself down the line, he started bitching and whining, being like, this is bullying, my manager doesn't like me, my manager has a vendetta against me, and jumped above his head to come and speak to me, who I was his boss's boss. You should not break that chain of command when there's nothing done wrong. And instead of taking the constructive feedback from his boss, he looked to essentially blackmail the boss by saying, I've been seeing you do XYZ things wrong, and I'm going to tell your boss about it. When I already knew about the things, because the manager had already told me he was falling down in these couple of areas and wanted help. So he was doing the emotionally evolved thing of saying, I'm a bit shit at this and this and this. Can you help me? The person below him was watching him fail at these things, not highlighting it, saving it as ammunition to then use when he felt hurt and attacked. So I then had to take time out of my busy schedule to speak to this person about the grievance they had with their manager. And when I try to highlight the fact that everything the manager said was correct and what they were trying to do was help them become better at their job, they got extremely emotional. And funnily enough, eventually tried to apply for the manager's job when the manager left and had not done any development from the point at which I talked to them. That person is intelligent. That person is really good at one part of that job. And I'm trying really hard to keep this anonymous because I do not want to embarrass the person. But that lack of emotional stability and strength highlighted to me a problem with the generation that are 10 to 15 years younger than me. They are not getting enough constructive feedback and criticism and not being told that they are shit when they are shit. When I was growing up, there was not as many second place trophies as there is now. There was not as much mollycoddling when somebody does something wrong. I would get sixth place in something and know I was sixth place. There's arguments happening everywhere now to eliminate that from sports in young kids because they're worried that they're going to be excluded. If you're shit at a sport and somebody's exceptional at a sport, let the person who's exceptional be exceptional. Let you find something you're better at. Keep doing the thing you're shit at until you get better at it. These things that I think are blurred from the way this video is set up. These are actually all medals from when I failed. I have the trophy from when I won my bodybuilding show in view. I put these here so that when I'm shooting these videos, I see them and I'm reminded that I need to be better at all times, that I need to look for improvements. Because me pattering on about men being emotionally weak is not about putting people down. It's about framing it and putting it out there so that you can understand, if you watch this video, that you can do better than you're doing now, and it's okay to be shit at something. It's really useful to be shit at something. The worse I am at something, the harder I'll work to be better at it. For example, these bodybuilding medals behind me. The first time I got on a bodybuilding stage, I placed dead last. I wasn't told that because if you're outside the top six in a bodybuilding show, they don't tell you where you placed because it kind of doesn't matter. But I knew in my heart of heart there's probably only one motherfucker on that stage that I could have beaten. Every other sport I did before that, I actually found quite easy to do well in. In fighting, when I was kickboxing, going to small level tournaments, I could work harder in the day and I could get something out of it. Bodybuilding, you have to put the work in for months, if not years, to show up for 30 seconds on a stage and be rewarded. Me losing that tremendously was the best thing that ever happened to me for bodybuilding. The trophy that I'm looking at over there was 7 years after that first competition. I grinded and I grafted and I did everything that I could because all I wanted was to finally win in bodybuilding. If I'd been mollycoddled and told, great job, you look brilliant, when I looked like shit, I would have thought I looked exceptional and not put in the hard work. So if you like talking about things like this and like hearing about where masculinity can get stronger and your emotion can get better, and this is the first time you're ever seeing me, my name is Matt. I am the Betterman coach. I advise you to subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts on what I've said. If you think I'm some kind of manifesto jamming out lunatic, let me know. If you agree with my points, definitely let me know. But if you disagree, I would love to talk to you about it. Like the video, do whatever you want with the video, share it with somebody. If you need me to be viral to cancel me, that'd be great. I'll see you in the next video.